Hi, I'm Mike and welcome to my YouTube channel, Muckland Griffons. I started this channel so I could share the adventures of my two wire-haired pointed Griffons, Archie and Oneida, and myself as we pursue upland game birds mainly. A little bit of waterfowl hunting I do as well. So, a lot of the other channels that I see out there are from very experienced upland hunters and they share a lot of valuable information. I wanted to start the channel so I could share more from more of a novice upland bird hunter. So, I am not I'm not a dog breeder. I am not a dog trainer. I'm just a guy that likes to hunt with his two Griffons. So I'd like to share that experience and those adventures so that hopefully either I inspire some people to get into the uplands and chase some birds, or kind of help some of the newer hunters out there. I anticipate sharing things like what gear am I using, what shotgun, what shot size for that time of year, what chokes am I using for those birds, that kind of stuff, as well as some of the training I do in the backyard. This certainly isn't a bird dog training channel. It's, like I said, just sharing my experiences and what I do. It may not be right for you if it's a training video. You may totally disagree with what I do with, and that's perfectly fine. We'll share some hunting trip videos. Like I said, I live in upstate New York, so we chase rough grouse and woodcock in this area. I travel, to the Adirondacks to chase the same birds. I've gone to Maine for those two species. I've been to Nebraska and South Dakota to chase pheasants and quail and prairie grouse as well. So we'll share that stuff. We'll do some gear reviews. Another big thing for me, I love cooking the game that we do harvest. So we'll share some recipes and how to cook some of that stuff. And really just, kind of telling some tales of what we're doing with the bird dogs. They consume a lot of my time, and you can see them jumping up behind me here in the window. Just want to share those experiences and those adventures with folks, and hopefully spur some conversations around bird dogs, upland bird hunting, the gear that we use for that stuff, maybe some conservation type items as well. So, a little bit about myself. Like I said, I have two bird dogs, Archie and Oni. They're really my first go around at some serious bird dog hunting. I did have a Labrador Retriever, was kind of my first dog as an adult. We did a little bit of bird hunting, but nothing too serious. I got involved in small game hunting as a 14-year-old with my Uncle Brian. He's the type of guy that really got us all into fishing, hunting, the outdoors, you name it. He was just that kind of guy. He was a great dog trainer, not only dog trainer, really kind of animal trainer. I remember he rescued a blackbird, and he used to whistle and that thing would come and land on his shoulder. Just a really good animal trainer, and outdoorsman. So he inspired a lot of us at a young age to get out there and learn these things. So he's the one that really got me involved in small game and bird hunting. We used to do a lot of pheasant hunting on New York state lands where they release the birds. Here in upstate New York, there's no wild pheasants anymore. But he's the one that got me involved in that type of stuff and just hunting behind dogs. He had flushing dogs. He had a golden retriever that was great. We used to hunt with another dog, Rosie, that another family owned, but Uncle Brian would grab Rosie and take us pheasant hunting. He had another dog, Sunset, that I think was just kind of a mutt, but she was a great dog to hunt behind. So that really sparked my interest in that world. When I finally, after my lab died, I remember saying to my wife, "Hey, I want another bird. I want to get a bird dog." And I knew nothing about bird dogs. I knew nothing about the pointing breeds. Her response to that comment was, "Can you find one that doesn't shed? And can you get some help training it?" Because our lab was just kind of off the wall, crazy. So that led me into doing some research, and certainly the Griffons shed, not like the Labrador did. But that's how I stumbled upon the Griffon breed, was kind of searching up bird dogs that don't shed. So then the more and more I learned about the Griffons, the more I liked them. Just reading about their style and how they hunt, I thought it fit well with the style of hunting I wanted to do. And then the other comment from my wife was, hey, get some help training that dog. Because like I said earlier, I am not a trainer. A friend of mine from high school, her father was big into bird dogs. It just so happens he was a NAVDA member, North American Hunting Dog Association. He ended up being a judge in that organization, and he just was very deep into that world. She had said to me, hey, you got to call my dad and talk to him. So I got a hold of him, and he really kind of helped me understand the scoring system for NAVDA and how to do research on a breeder and dogs. You can hear mine they're wrestling around here. That led me into the pointing breeds, and how to do research on those led me into some breeders, and I ended up with Archie, who for me certainly is a challenge to train. Just really high prey drive, but he's turned out to be a pretty good hunting dog. But all that research led me into NAVDA, North American Hunting Dog Association. I ended up joining that club, and what's great about it is those folks I've been able to rely on to help me train my dogs, and that's where we're at. So yeah, so that's a little bit of the introductory for me and what the channel is going to be about. You know, it's going to be me following my two bird dogs, the Muckland Griffons. You know, it'll be us. Hopefully some trips out west, maybe Maine this year, maybe upstate New York. We'll do some rough grouse and woodcock hunting up there. We'll make some videos on that. We'll make some training videos, just showing what I do and the fun that I have with these two dogs. You know, and then probably some recipe videos as well, how to prepare those birds and really enjoy it that way. You know, some gear reviews and what we're using, what's in my first aid kit and those types of things. The camping gear, I like to, you know, the upstate New York trips, we usually, when we head to the Adirondacks, we'll camp in a tent at a campground or disperse camping. I'll share some of that gear as well, and really hopefully just people will find it educational for those people that are getting into this world. And even if you're not a upland bird hunter, hey Archie, hopefully you find it interesting and learn some stuff from it as well. Yeah, so join me in the Muckland Griffons. You know, as a side note, someone asked me, why do you call them the Muckland Griffons? Well, where I live here in New York, in Western New York, there's the Elba Muck that used to be swampland decades ago, 100 years ago or whatever it was. They cleared it out in the early 1900s, drained the swamp, and it's a really black, fertile land, and they call it muck. Our family had a farm down there. We had about a little over 600 acres, and we grew mainly onions and potatoes. And this is where I live, near that muck land. So we do a lot of training down there. Some of my friends allowed me to do some training down there on their land, and then that's where I rode the dogs, running some of the back dirt roads and that type of thing. So it's the Muckland Griffons. Appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you'll come back for some more videos. Like and subscribe if you would, please. That helps the channel. Comment down below what you think, whether it's hopefully it's positive comments, but certainly we'll take some of that criticism as well. Like I said, I'm no bird dog trainer. I'm no videographer. It's just me. I'm just a guy that likes chasing after his bird dogs and hopefully harvesting some of those birds, and we'll share those adventures. So come on back to the Muckland Griffons YouTube channel. Appreciate it. On the right is Oneida, and on the left is Archie, the two Muckland Griffons.